My childhood friend Avery Johnson's uncle Oscar committed suicide. Before his death, someone discovered hundreds of unsent love letters in his drawer. Each letter was addressed to me. So in this second chance at life, when my mother asked if I wanted to marry my childhood friend Avery, I shook my head and resolutely chose to marry his uncle Oscar instead. I harbor a secret, I've been reborn. In my previous life, I chose to marry my childhood sweetheart Avery. However, after our marriage, Avery was frequently absent from home. Later, when I suffered severe bleeding during pregnancy, he abandoned me in my dangerous condition simply because his first love, Stella Locke, said, "The power's out at my place, and I'm scared." He left without hesitation. Eventually, both my unborn child and I died from the hemorrhage. After my death, Avery didn't shed a single tear. He even complained that my death had disrupted his travel plans with his first love. When I miraculously opened my eyes again, given a second chance, I had returned to the day my mother asked me who I wanted to marry. Amanda Brown, have you really thought this through? You and Avery grew up together. Are you sure you want to marry his uncle Oscar? Faced with my mother's repeated questioning, I consistently answered, yes, I'm sure. All right, as long as you truly love him. Your father and I will start arranging your wedding right away. My mother was even more eager than I was. That very day, she went to ask Oscar about his thoughts. After receiving his affirmative response, she rushed to the wedding planning company to book an outdoor venue. Shortly after booking the wedding venue, Avery called. His voice was filled with impatience. Amanda, have you no shame? You initially forced our elders to arrange our marriage, and now you've gone behind my back and booked a wedding venue? Don't you have any modesty as a woman? Are you that desperate to get married? Amanda, your desperate, cheap behavior makes me utterly despise you. I pressed my lips tightly together, pausing briefly before explaining, Avery, I never intended to marry you in this lifetime. The person I want to marry is... But he didn't give me a chance to finish, interrupting me with a cold laugh. Amanda, so you've learned to play hard to get now. Why didn't I see through your true intentions earlier? Even if you plan the wedding perfectly, what difference does it make? I love Stella, and she's the only one I'll ever marry. My heart belongs entirely to Stella. Your pathetic actions only disgust me to my core. With that, he hung up, leaving me to swallow the explanation I wanted to give. Never mind. Soon enough, he'd discovered that I wasn't planning to marry him at all. My family and the Johnson family had been close associates for generations, a traditional relationship highly valued in our community. Avery and I grew up in the same residential compound, truly childhood sweethearts who shared everything. After we celebrated Christmas that year, our parents arranged our marriage, following the traditional custom of family-arranged unions. But in my previous life, he suddenly proposed canceling our engagement to marry someone else. I refused to agree, which led to a huge argument. Although I eventually married Avery as I wished, he rarely came home after our wedding. When I finally became pregnant, he moved in with Stella, and I barely saw him except during family gatherings. As my due date approached, the senior family members who traditionally had authority in family matters forced me to return home. However, on the first night back, we had a fierce argument that caused me to hemorrhage severely. I was terrified and begged Avery to take me to the hospital, but one phone call from Stella was enough to make him leave. In the end, both my unborn child and I died. My poor baby never even had a chance to see this world. After my death, Avery didn't even attend my funeral, immediately taking Stella on vacation instead. My parents, heartbroken, fell ill from grief and passed away shortly after. My family's assets ultimately fell into Avery's hands, while he and Stella grew old together, surrounded by children and grandchildren. In my previous life, my decision to marry Avery led to a devastating tragedy, resulting in the loss of both my family and my life. In this life,